Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's a beautiful day, and we're here creating another pirate activity. Tracy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Hello, Arizona and the world. How are you? I'm great.
I'm very, very well. Thank you for asking. You know, Tracy and I have been going back and forth online, this online thing that we have going on. And it's really amazing to me to see how we can all connect the dots and have a conversation, start a conversation with anybody and see what comes out of it. And Tracy, you've been doing this for a long time. You started out as an activist, developing and helping others around you. And then this just evolved into a profession where you're now
career. Yeah.
You're here and all of a sudden you're a pirate. So it's amazing to see how things have transpired. So what is it? I know you're working on a lot of different projects, and for those that don't know you yet and haven't connect with Tracy, kind of outline some of the things that you're working on so people get a feel for what you're passionate
What I do?
about. Yeah.
So I'm a publicist, which a lot of people don't know what that really is, other than, something that they give jobs to people on TV that say that, and it's supposed to be all glamorous. And it's kind of glamorous. I mean, there's VIP parties and travel and all that stuff that I, fell into, but it didn't start out that way. I never saw this life. It's still an activist in my heart, and I came from advocacy and activists. I didn't have all kinds of contacts and connections, but I've developed those over 30 years of doing good work, and then since then, of professionalizing it. But yeah, basically, what I do is elevate and celebrate what other people do. That's what I do professionally now. So I shine a light on the work that people are doing, and help them become experts in their fields and help them get media attention. But it all started with advocacy for an innocent man on death row, who was finally, the world of 20 years agreed he was released in 2017 on evidence of actual factual innocence. And by the time he got out, 20 years journey, we still talk all the time, myself, my husband and him, 20-year journey, we had that light bulb moment. Wait a minute. So we were no longer, we met as, we were telemarketers. He was some guy on death row nobody was listening to. He got off death row. Now he's in Rolling Stone magazine being lauded as a musician. And we're, international award-winning publicist. So my life is weird, but
it's like Cinderella story almost. It's like, okay, you just had a heart for it. You helped somebody out, and all of a sudden the rest is history, kind of thing.
So crazy. Yeah.
So he's on Rolling Stone. So tell us who the musician is now, and he has some tracks out or
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah. His name is Jimmy Dennis, and you can find him on all streaming platforms. He's going to be in Philadelphia Magazine this week. And the Rolling Stone article was in 2019, December, which quotes me as well. And so there's a lot, obviously you can go read the long history of what happened, but I love the way you said, tell us about the musician Jimmy Dennis, which is, he's got 4 songs out right now. The first was You Said, second was You Went and Did It, third was Hate the Skin I'm In, which is a commentary on this year and, racism in America and just all that stuff. And then the fourth, it's an uplifting song though. And it's, like this uplifting song. And the fourth one is a beautiful one that I would love to direct everyone to, which is Tears This Year, because everybody had a really rough time, just a challenging time, not knowing what's going on or where we're going. And so the song is a hopeful song. His thing was always, over 25 years, never give up, never give up. Still the t-shirt with that. And I always say, we didn't get this far to only get this far, when he's still struggling with, PTSD or whatever. Right. So that's, a message I'd like to bring everybody to. Never give up, from the guy who literally spent 25 years on death row, not just, being told you're going to get killed, but all the struggles that go with it. And then now that, you survived it, because we all survived whatever we got through, all of us, to get here, even not that dramatic, but to get where we are today. So we didn't get this far to only get this far. So whether you're where you want to be, or whether you have trouble getting out of bed, or whether you want to jump off a building or something like that, did you get through all those, you didn't get through everything you got that brought you here in life to stop now, or to give up, or to fall off a bridge or anything. Whoever you are, wherever you're at, we didn't get this far to only do this. Keep going.
Well, I think the message in that also is you have to have hope that something could be different in the future. I know that a lot of people are are being challenged right now. And the other thing about that is that it's not forever.
Exactly.
What we're going through right now is temporary, and you don't need a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And so, mental health and your ability to have a belief that something is going to improve
Is
goes a
everything.
long way. It
Yeah,
goes a
it's
long way.
everything.
It's everything. So I know that you got lots of different projects going on right now. So is there something that you could probably talk about in terms of what you do and how you help, and why you're so excited about the future and what's going in
Yeah, there's
what you're
so I still
put
take
in
on
place?
projects that are heart centered, that are from an activist perspective, that are, and also, and some of that crosses over with people, doing in small businesses, doing diversity work or doing other works with the entrepreneurs, but it's actually doing good things as well. And then there are artists and their amazing messages. I work
Mhm.
with a couple artists, Count Classy, who's a groundbreaking Canadian hip hop artist who's smashing barriers of homophobia, basically being who he is and making music, and people are loving it, and which is still challenging in the hip hop community sometimes. A 13-year-old singer who I pretty much discovered when she was performing at an activist event, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's not just a little kid strumming a guitar, Bolu, sing that again. And she's 13 years old, of Zimbabwe descent, here in Canada, a Canadian girl that's just had a really strong, powerful voice as a little kid, not just a singing voice, but when she speaks, media falls in love with her because she's just like way beyond her years in terms of
Oh, wow.
speaking about why she writes these things, and then I work with a lot of people in the emerging cannabis community, mostly women, like because in Canada we're legal coast to coast like you are in Arizona, but we're federally legal in Canada with no impediments, and it is a huge emerging industry here with a lot of power women in it, and women, and interesting. I read in a magazine once in terms of the cannabis industry is it's one of the very few new industries, actual new industries we have. Tech is the other one, and for
Yeah.
that's developed the last 20 years, actual complete new industries that we're building from the ground up. And for whatever reason, women have not been able to really make their mark in tech. Well, they have, but I mean, numbers wise, and there's a lot of conversation about how do we get more women into STEM and all that. Well, in cannabis, even though in the boardrooms the numbers are still saying corporate boardrooms 90% white male, which is really kind of strange because that's not what we see in the entrepreneurs and on the ground. There's a lot of women in like all aspects of it. So I'm really proud. That's why, I work with a lot of power women finding their voice and finding a new way to, do something in a new industry. And that's really fun. And then a lot of people in entertainment, of course, like film and TV, some
Mhm.
projects coming out right now. One that's in development called The Secret of Svalbard, Canada-US co-production, Canada-UK co-production with Effortless Pictures. It's going to be a interesting sci-fi show, a TV show. I'm working with Anita Erskine. He's one of Africa's most famous broadcasters. She's got 3 TV shows in 9 countries, and she's coming. One is called Shiro's, and she's coming to do an international version of that. And she actually asked me to be not just the publicist, but the executive producer of that one. So that's happening.
Congratulations.
you know,
Congratulations.
and I may end up going to Ghana, when travel happens again. She'd like me to come and get a perspective of Ghana on that one. So I never know where. I'm just so blessed. I never know where I'm going to be going, And again, all that now it's like international award-winning publicists, VIP parties, travel, and I feel like, oh, you're so elevated. But again, no, this came. I want to bring it back to my crappy old laptop or my desktop computer in my old crappy rented apartment, when I was in my 20s, just trying to save some guy's life
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know and then so sometimes things happen when you're not waiting for them to happen, and it's funny because my father used to say, when I was 30 and I'm 51 now, if you spend half as much time building a business, which we weren't even thinking about doing in those days, wasn't even moving, if you spend half as much time building a business as you did with this prison or death row stuff, you'd be millionaires by the time you're 30. And at 29 I remember thinking, he's right, because we do, he's right. But that wasn't where my focus was, and you know what, I'm glad, because now I can look
Yeah.
back and how did you spend your summer vacation? How did you spend your 30s? Well, I had a bit of a hand in helping save some guy's life that nobody was, so that's cool. And then now
Yeah.
that's developing, it took 15 years till I figured out that I could monetize some of those skills. And that ended up leading to this life that other people think is amazing, and it is.
So the story behind the story, you were an advocate, and you were, out there sharing a voice for somebody that was was wrongly convicted. What was it that made that connection for you originally in terms of how did you discover this individual, and what allowed you to hear his story
And why do we stay in that for so long? Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
funny because I'll never remember
that's a long
the
journey.
moment we saw it on, okay, originally there was it was early days of the internet, and actually it was something that he'd paid for. They had some service that was charging prisoners money. I don't even know, I guess it was a pen pal service, and we would never have been looking for that. We were activists in the early days of the internet. We'd had a radio show a few years before where we covered issues of nothing to do with wrongful conviction or prisoners, but we did like anti-racism things and just social, your general 20s activist stuff. And so when that was over, and then it was the early days of the internet, we didn't have a platform anymore, but now we have these interwebs thing. So we thought, we'll each make our own web pages like everybody else, with things we cared about. In those days, you could do a Netscape without knowing anything about the internet or web,
exactly.
So I remember we were just making a page, and somehow and looking for links and everything, we somehow, my husband's like, I found it. I think I found it, but we don't remember anymore. But there was a little site that Jimmy Dennis, the name of the prisoner, had paid for, a little like listing saying, I don't want a pen pal. I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm literally innocent. I don't know what to do, and this is my only way to reach out. This is the moment that I can never remember. I don't understand why we wrote that letter. To this day, because we were not involved with prisoner stuff and with death row murder. I mean, what?
So it was completely out of the blue.
It was. We were activists, but that was not anything to do with our world, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I can't answer why did my husband Dave and myself at 29 decide to actually put pen to paper and write a physical letter and then go put a stamp on it and mail it to death row and say, how innocent can this guy be? Why we did that, I cannot explain to this day. But I'm so glad we did. What happened as a result is, this guy gets this letter, and I don't know what other letters he got, but nothing like ours, or nothing that struck him like ours, or nothing. 18. We got a letter back, 18 pages, small little writing, both sides, plus all kinds of everything, plus all kinds of documentation, whatever we had to sell. So we read that later. It took longer for us to get all the case stuff, all the court stuff. Somebody bought that, and took care of that, so that we could all be confident, really read it all, and Anyway, it took a long time, but we ended up developing this little. I learned to write a press release for that reason. I literally went to Alta Vista for immediate release. How do I learn to tell the world? And we started putting it out. We were naive, thinking we'll tell the world about this innocent man on death row. Well, nobody in America wanted to hear it, because in those days there weren't a million podcasts about wrongful convictions. It was almost impossible to get attention inside on that. We got attention inside about these feisty Canadians who were making web pages about death row prisoners. That kind of attention. We became the news, right? But we used that strategically and said, well, whatever, just look at this, and oh my goodness. So we just developed. Then we were, upset about we kind of learned about the death penalty in America beyond just that innocence case, because we were so shocked at what could have happened to him. So then we started this organization, the Canadian Coalition Against the Death Penalty, which went beyond innocence. And, Jimmy was always our guiding light. We spoke internet. This is how I learned I was really good at this stuff, because we ended up getting on CNN, on MSNBC, on Court TV, on Fox, on me, Dave, 29 years old, no legal experience. We're arguing with, Nancy Grace.
No history and background at all, and you're just going and diving into it.
And we're just on there arguing with Nancy Grace, talking about and nobody ever said, hold on a second, just who the hell do you guys think you are? I think that's hilarious. You're on all these, you guys are in your basement in Toronto. Like, what, what's your legal? Nobody ever said that, because we didn't, we were just always we weren't presenting ourselves as lawyers. We're just like, what we're saying. Anyway, the point is, that's why after all that, I ended up knowing that we were good. But I don't know, in terms of the Jimmy story, it's on him, because he managed to put this team together from death row and hold us all together and keep us all hoping and keep us all active and keep us all for 20 years. Think about that in terms of with no, reward, think about it in terms of a project manager. That's magic, that's magical. So that's on him. And we still talk every day. And like I said, he's in Rolling Stone now recording these songs. And, he's in court right now. They're determining how much money they're going to have to give him for the time they stole from him, which, like everyone always says,
Right.
doesn't do anything. And I know that's true because, I mean, that it helps the future, but it doesn't touch the past. Because, like
Yeah.
I said, I've been with that guy, my husband and I have been with him on this journey since 1999, when he'd been there for 8 years, when he was
Wow.
praying for the truth 99, praying for the truth 2000, praying for 20, and it went all the way up to 2017. And his daughters kept getting older and older. At the beginning, he was dreaming of getting out and coming to Canada with his 6 and 9-year-old daughters, and they'd be playing on the lawn. Well, the time he got out, his daughters are 23 and 29 and have kids of their own. So, and so as much as millions of dollars are going to be awesome, would you like sit in the cell for 30 years or 25 years with everybody kicking you and beating you and saying they're going to kill you because you know that maybe later you're going to get a couple million? No way.
No
Nobody
way.
would.
Yeah. Well, and what it does is really brings up to the forefront that, you did something that was kind and generous and then evolved into a skill. I mean, through this process, you acquired a skill where now people are calling you and saying, "Hey, will you be my publicist?
See?
Will you help me with this movie? Will you do these things?" And it's really a story about following your passion and doing what you really are drawn to doing to help mankind and help people out there in the world. And so it's really a powerful story. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, is highlight that part of your story, because a lot of people, they say what you are now, they say, okay, they recognize you for what you're doing now. And the gift is the journey that you took, the journey and the process that you and your husband did.
Absolutely.
And thank you for doing that thing. I want to highlight a couple of people in the community. Jerry Barnes, we were talking about wise words. What we are going through isn't forever.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think it's you have a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So it's really important to understand. And Michael Baker says, patience and understanding, everything takes time. Trust in the process, and faith, courage, believe in oneself. I think so. It's absolutely true. And our wonderful producer here, Tracy, is in the house. Good morning, Pirates. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for being here. Tracy, meet Tracy.
Hello, Tracy. Hello, Tracy. Did you know our name means bold and courageous, or fierce maiden warrior?
I love that. I love that.
Me too. I didn't know that till like 2 years ago, and I'm like, all right, I'll take that. So maybe names do mean something.
Yeah. Hey, it says, hello, Pirates. Thank you so much for being here. He's a musician. He's a wonderful gift to the world. Leslie Martinez, good morning from LinkedIn. Thank you so much. This is a wake up. Hockett says, this was really wake up interview. Thank you so much. And he says, Michael, so true, Michael. Faith is so important. I want to shift gears a little bit, because I know that there's a lot of people that are struggling with what is going on around them right now. Whether it be, they've lost their jobs. A lot of restaurants are out of work. They're closed down, they're locked down. And so from a publicist perspective, and somebody that's really in tune with the messaging, what do you see happening that, there's so many, for me, being an entrepreneur, I see so many opportunities online, but not everybody has that skill or that mindset. And so as somebody that works with words and messaging, what kind of ray of hope have you seen other people do or change or get involved with that's helped move them forward in this world today?
So you mean people who can't utilize online, or just in general mindset thinking
Or
that
they
they
just
can't?
haven't done it, or they haven't thought about it, or
Oh
they haven't.
yeah. There's a ton of opportunity, and even I reminded myself the other day, even the opportunities that I know about. So I'm not really looking for those kind of opportunities right now, so I was out of the loop. But somebody reminded me, there was a site that I used 8 years ago when I was starting my freelance work, which some people know and some people don't. But everything is a skill, so there's a pitch to everything. If you haven't been successful on it, fix your pitch. But I know Elan. It used to be called Elan. It's called Upwork now. A lot of people don't know about it, but honestly, when I was moving from my job to trying to find clients of my own, it's insane. Like, it's not just jobs like PR stuff. You can do telemarketing jobs on Upwork. You can do like graphic, so there's all the stuff you'd think about, like graphic design, blah, blah. But even just like if you're working a call center and your call center's closed now, but you got a phone and internet connection, there's a million people looking for phone jobs. So it's basically, and it's, people could be looking for a job, like, they giving you a job for 1 day or 1 week or whatever. It is paid through this site, the third party site. But because I went to the other day only because somebody reminded me that I had a profile there that was so far out of date, and I don't use it for work anymore because I have all my clients coming in like other avenues, right?
Yeah.
So I hadn't even thought about it for 5 years. I'm like, oh my goodness, I went and updated my thing because it was like way out of date in what I charge, like it was like, hi, I think I can do PR. Can I write your press release? It wasn't saying that, but pretty much it was like, that's where I was trying to show, I was segueing from doing it and getting paid for it, right? So now I'm like, I had to go and change it all, but I realized when I was changing it all and looking at it with the eyes of a professional now, if I did need work, would there be something on here for me? And there was actually, there was things like, so for $1,000 for this project over 3 weeks. So they're not just things. There's obviously it's a whole
There's
world.
all kinds of opportunities
for, like,
out
1
there.
cent articles, like really stupid. They're looking for people speaking in other countries, right, where they have a lower standard of living or lower, but other people are there just looking for quick workers. They're looking for professional, high end, some of them, they want someone in North America. No, I mean, the people in other countries are just as skilled. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying if you're in North America and you're not trying to bid against those pricing, there's work for you. There's high end, like at your rate, and you just have to set it. And anyway, but everything's about a pitch, so you've got to like present yourself well in there and the wording, but there's a ton of opportunity. I was surprised how much more opportunity there was in that, even since I had looked at it last. There's like, wow. So I've been telling all my friends now that I see who aren't, international award-winning publicists, because everyone I know is struggling, and they're all posting, looking, this job didn't work out, or does anybody know this? I don't want to do deliveries, or honestly, check out. I think it's, and again, I have nothing to do with the site. It's called Upwork, and there's other ones like it. I think it's,
Fiverr is another one.
Fiverr is, I've never used Fiverr, but similar, exactly similar thing. But I mean, Upwork is good because you don't have to necessarily think of like, I'll make a graphic design thing. I'll make a thing. It could be literally like you're a telemarketer, which I had done. I had been there, like I think some of my first Upwork jobs 10 years ago. I was comfortable with that. So I was like, ooh, well, I was PR, and telemarketing. So there's things like, you could be calling, you could be in, Alabama, and you could get a job calling, I'm talking about just basic stuff, calling.
You could call business owners in Nebraska.
Exactly. Or, all over. So try that before you give. There's a lot of opportunity online, even if you're not a online worker, even if you're not doing but you'd be surprised. There's like just a really big, there's range, like even if you type fast, there's transcription stuff. There's virtual assistant stuff on there. There's so there's a lot of things you can do to create an income.
Yeah. Tracy came back on your name. No, she did not know that Tracy was, that was the definition of Tracy.
Seriously, yeah. Bold and courageous is one. Another one I've seen is something maiden warrior. Yeah, it's incredible. I was really,
and she's also very engaged in the wrongful conviction advocacy. Yeah. So
amazing. Let's connect.
And absolutely. And so Tracy's been an advocate for wrongful conviction for a long time. So, and Reger says, good morning, Russ and Tracy. Thank you so much. We still need to catch up. I'm just hectic life. So Tracy, before we wrap up here, I want to know,
what, is that time already? Oh my goodness.
It's getting close, but we still got some time, but I want to make sure that people understand how you like to have people connect with you. What is your preferred method of connection, and what are some things that you look forward to as far as types of work or types of activity you like to get involved in and engaged in?
So I do work internationally. I have clients literally all over the English speaking world.
Uh-huh.
And I would love to talk to anybody who is a pirate and listen to the pirate broadcast and thinking, gee, this sounds good. How can I get some media attention? Literally, whatever you do, whatever you do. If you mow lawns for a living, if you have a passion for whatever, I don't care what you do, there are media opportunities for real
Yeah.
for it. You don't believe me, message me, call me, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, so you can reach out to me on. I live on social media. I live on the Facebook, Tracy Lamourie, Lamourie. Here on LinkedIn I find super effective to connect with amazing people. Just my name, Tracy Lamourie. You can see it up there,
Uh-huh.
over there, over there.
Right
Oh,
up
there.
here.
And on Instagram, it's Tracy Lamourie PR Media. On the web, it's LamourieMedia.com. On the phone, that old telephone technology that still exists, I keep forgetting about, is
Somebody still dials the
289.
phone. Somebody still
Remember
dials the phone.
289-788-5881. And yeah, I'm more than happy to do a half an hour free consult and talk about how we can bring some media magic.
That's fantastic. I get involved and engaged in all kinds of projects and activities. So I would love the opportunity to, connect and catch up with some of those activities with you, Tracy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love that for sure.
And now that you're a pirate, because one of the things that I'm working on this year, my big intention is, the pirate broadcast is basically the proving ground for the pirate syndicate, and I produce shows for other people. So all of these productions, all of these shows, and the systems that you use to get online, and Tracy produces the show and the social media that goes along with that. All of that stuff is produced over on the Pirate Syndicate. So that's a separate business that I actually promote and produce results with for other business owners. So I got
for
multiple
entrepreneurs and everything. Nice.
Yeah. So if you're interested in being a producer, or you want to learn more about the producing side, helping other people produce shows, or if you want to just learn about how to produce your own show, that's kind of where that lives over there. So
very
messaging
cool.
is I'm getting the messaging down, and all of the things that need to go into it and produce results. And I'm building courses over there to teach people how to do that.
Oh,
So
wow, that's great. It's so important. Like honestly, I always talk about platforms and the thought leadership and all that stuff. If you're not leveraging your expertise and using these platforms, and there are more and more platforms available, then somebody else is in your industry or in your, and they're getting those media spots. So, which are important.
It's really important for people to understand that you have options. There are opportunities out there to do a lot of creative stuff. And actually, if you're interested in something, someone has an opportunity. And I just encourage you to get out there and share your message and share your voice. And just like you did, you started out with a passion and being an activist in a certain way. It turned into something that was amazing. It took you on a 20-year journey, and now you're publicist. Yeah. That's easy for you to say, right? And doing all kinds of work all over the world. So I just want to plant that seed and let people know that that's an opportunity for anyone that wants to take the initiative to go out there, ask a question, and do something positive. So it's amazing. It's amazing. So Tracy, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you and what you're doing. And if there's any way that we can support you from the pirate community, please don't be afraid of giving us a shout out and helping us out and connecting with the pirates.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of
Fantastic.
fun. Thank you, everybody. I hope it's been, I hope you got everybody gleaned something out of it. But my biggest message again is that Jimmy, never give up. Please go and find Tears this year. Jimmy Dennis on all streaming platforms. And I mean, a guy who did not have a voice for 25 years, had no way to talk to you. And now I can tell you he's on all streaming platforms. So please listen.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you and the work that you're doing, and I look forward to many more conversations like this in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. As go out there. We're on a social world. Social is so important. We want to make sure that you're connected, collaborating, starting a conversation. Just reach out and make those connections and do something valuable and important in your life and go through it. And let's continue the conversation in the pirate community. So, as you know, kindness is cool and smiles are free. So you enjoy the day. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today. Boom. See you soon.